Hello and welcome back. So last time I told you that I didn't know what I was going to do this time, because last time, by the way, the video was dropped last week, but it had been made a couple of weeks before that because I've been on a trip to Texas. And after driving back from Texas, I realized that, and I've had the car about 6 months now, and I think it's about time for the infamous 5 things I love about my Dodge Challenger Scat Pack. So that's what we're doing this week. By the way, also been helped along by the fact that this week it's either been pouring down rain or heat index is over 100 degrees, or both, and working in the garage under the hood just has not seemed like fun. In fact, I'm not having fun right now because it's kind of warm right now, even though there was just a shower. Anyway, without further ado, let me get on to the 5 things I love about this car. Number 1, performance. Well, of course, that's why you buy a car like this. But it's not just the 475 horsepower and the 6-piston front, 4-piston rear Brembo brakes. It's the way they work. I cannot tell you how sensitive. I have a hair trigger accelerator and brake. If you just touch the accelerator, this car shoots off. And if you just touch the brake, it comes screeching to a halt. When I let people drive it for the first time who've never driven it, they are shocked I say, by how much they throw themselves back and then throw themselves forward trying to stop, because it takes a while to get used to. And by the way, I love it. Once you get used to it, it's phenomenal. I just love it. Number 2, the second thing that I love about this car is the comfort. As I just mentioned, I just took this car on a little road trip the last couple of weeks. I went to Texas, which is 600 miles each way, and it was a delight. Okay, it wasn't quite as comfortable as the Cadillac ATS or the Mercedes 350 coupe, but it's close. The seats, the leather are lovely with the Alcantera, you know, the mustard color I have. They're comfy. I had no problem. And the adaptive cruise control works great, although one caveat, it's minimum speed adaptive cruise, which means like you get down below like 20 miles an hour, it turns off. Whereas the ATS, it had stop and go automatic cruise control, so that if you were on the freeway and all of a sudden everybody stopped, your car would stop, and then when they went, you'd go, and when they'd stop, you'd stop. And by the way, on this trip to Texas, I really wish I'd had that, because there were a couple of times where the traffic came to a stop on the freeway for no reason, and then start going again. And of course, my cruise control turned off, and I had to turn it back on. So, number 2 was comfort. Number 3, the third thing I love about this car is the styling. Yes, when it first came out back at the end of the 2000s, it was gorgeous. It was retro but modern. And then they did that refresh about 6-7 years later, which made it even more. I mean, what they've done with the headlights. I love the hood scoop, which is functional, by the way, and the heat extractors, which are functional, by the way. I love the lines. I even love the stripe, which, by the way, as you recall from the video, I did not order it with this stripe, but it came with the stripe, and it's kind of grown on me. I love everything about it. I love the lines. I love how mean it looks from the front. I love, especially, and this was in the refresh, the ring lights, the daytime running lights, the yellow rings, which, by the way, default to off. I don't know, what were they thinking, defaulting those to? You have to turn them on. But I love that. I love everything about the styling. I think it is a gorgeous, gorgeous car. Number 4, the fourth thing I love about this car, and it's really not peculiar to just this particular car, but more to the muscle cars in general, which is the customizability. all the bling I've been putting under the hood. Yes, I know most of those companies also make the stuff for Mustangs and Camaros and Corvettes and other cars. But it just seems like there's more of it for the Dodge. Like you go to Lux and look at their decals, and they just seem to have more for the Challenger. You know, the rear trunk, like I have as a Stormtrooper. The Billet Technology stuff for under the hood. The Scalia Motorsports for on the hood and on the taillights and the half covers. All of those things just make this an amazing car to customize. I love customizing. Again, it's not peculiar to this car. It also works for a lot of other muscle cars, but I really like the way it works for this car, and it's one of the things I love about the car. Well, it's kind of why I have a channel about it, because it's videos of me putting bling on. So, number 4, customizability. Number 5, the 5th thing I love about this car are the electronics. The screen between the gauges on the driver's instrument cluster, which all the different things you can flip through, which, by the way, I hope right now editing me is putting in some B-roll of that happening, flipping through those things. The Uconnect system, yes, I know. And by the way, this is an old Uconnect. When they do the next refresh and they go to, this is Uconnect 3. If they go to Uconnect 5, are they up to 6? Anyway, the ones they're putting in the Ram trucks and everything, it's even better. It has wireless CarPlay. I love the CarPlay in here, but you know, you have to plug it in. I'd love the wireless CarPlay, which they have in the future, their future for this car, current and other Chrysler, Dodge, FC, Stellantis, whatever they're called, products. But, and again, I should have a little B-roll running now under my voice where it's showing you some of the screens and some of the things on the Uconnect system and the Sirius satellite radio. And I mean, it's just a well done, yes, my Cadillac had a really nice infotainment system, but it was a Cadillac. It was a luxury car. The Mercedes had a nice one. It was a luxury car. This is a more plebeian car. This is for like the everyman. And by the way, all the way down to the 6 cylinders, they have this same Uconnect system. So it's some really good electronics that are really useful. And of course, all the performance pages and stuff are just phenomenal. So, number 5, electronics / Uconnect. So those are the 5 things I love. Now I know that I've actually cheated because, like, if you watch a lot of these lists, people will say, well, like the wheels are their favorite thing, or the brakes, or the hood scoop, or the lights. Well, you know, you notice I put all of those things together under styling. So I cheated a little bit. But there's a lot to love about this car, and those are the 5 things I love. Now, doesn't mean it's perfect, so keep your eyes peeled. There will be coming a 5 things I hate about this car video, possibly next week if the weather stays like it's been, but if the weather cools off just a little bit where I can get back under the hood and get some more bling installed, that'll be next. So come back next week, find out which it is. Is it 5 things I hate, or is it more bling under the hood? We'll find out next week. See ya.